What's up, everybody? It's Roger, Working Man Cigars. So tonight I got another exciting one for tonight. Looking forward to this one. If it's really loud, I'm gonna try to edit this stuff out, but I got my portable AC unit, I got a fan, and you're gonna see me sweating bullets in here. So tonight I got another exciting one for tonight. I'm gonna be smoking the natural version of the Opus X BBMF. Look at this freaking cigar, man. This is such a cool cigar. Unfortunately, I freaking accidentally ripped off the tail in the cello. So the picture in the thumbnail is not gonna look as cool because the freaking tail, the tail's not on here, man. So it sucks, but yeah, really excited about this cigar. It's such a cool cigar. It has such nice detail. Like, this thing is so nice. And just the colors on this, it's so freaking sick, man. Look at this thing. Damn, this is such a cool looking cigar. I just did the Maduro version, and I thought, I'm gonna keep it going. Now I'm gonna smoke the natural. Since the Maduro is fresh in my mind, I wanna smoke the natural and see what this one's like. So I'm pretty hype about trying this one. If you could tell, I'm like sweating bullets in here, man. I got my portable air conditioning unit, which is probably why it's even louder in here. I'm gonna try to edit that stuff out, but I got my portable AC unit, I got a little fan, I got my air purifier going, I got all these things going to try to, you know, help the situation here. But I'm gonna try not to make this a super long review. I know the Maduro was a long review. Oh, what am I saying? It's probably gonna be a long review too. We'll see. I don't have much to talk about, so it might be smooth, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a cut, and then we'll check it out. I don't feel as bad cutting this one, since this one, the tail is off of it already, and then since I kind of just went through this like 2 weeks ago, it's not that, it doesn't feel like that big of a deal. So we'll see. Dang, the little tail. I mean, this tail doesn't count, right? For it having this type of foot, it has a good draw, so it's good. I don't know, something, the Maduros are sick. Oh man, I'll talk about that shit in a little bit, but man, it's hot in here, man. Damn. Smoke production, again, not the greatest, just because it's just getting lit. I think I'm gonna start shooting my videos outside again. The only thing is now, dang, there's a bee in here. The only thing is now, my son's a little bit older, the youngest, and he wants to follow me everywhere. So for me to get out here, I have to like sneak out to my garage, go through the side door, come here. And if he plays outside, I have to shut that door, because if he hears me out here, he'll want to come over here. So, which is cool, man, right? I love that my son wants to be around, but I don't want him to be around me when I'm trying to, first of all, smoke a cigar, and second, trying to shoot a video, obviously, you know, but yeah, it's just hard to get a good draw from these things. Like, there's smoke coming out. I don't know if you guys can see. And even when I take a draw, the smoke doesn't, you still get smoke coming out of here, just because so far it's starting off really sweet. I'm getting a really sweet note right off the bat, which I like. It's very enjoyable so far. I'm not getting any smoke right now out of this fucking thing. So you know what? There's another thing that kind of happens sometimes whenever you can't really get good smoke, but the draw is open, kind of like in this situation. And like I said, when I take a draw, I can still see smoke coming out of here. If you ever cold draw a cigar, I don't believe that it's indicative of what flavors you're gonna get, because I never get chocolate. Rarely do I get chocolate in a cigar when I'm smoking it, but I will get chocolate in the cold draws. I will do a cold draw and I'll get like really intense chocolate where I'm like, wow, that's freaking milk chocolate right there. And then I light up the cigar, start smoking it, and it doesn't come through, right? So the interesting thing about smoking a cigar where the draw is open, this happened to me with the Knuckle Sandwich Chef's Edition as well, where I'm not getting as much smoke and I'm getting like a lot of air coming through the cigar. And you get a mix of like the flavors from the cold draw mixed with the smoke, and it's interesting. It's nice. See, now it's just dead. Like, I talked a little bit too much. Now it's just dead. Well, I'm going to smoke this thing down a little bit, and then I'll check back in a little bit, let you guys know how it's doing. All right, guys, so Cigar is smoking beautifully now. And the ash, see, the ash on these is so nice. The tip of the cigar had like a Maduro wrapper right at the tip underneath it. And you could even see it in the ash. It's freaking cool. You could kind of tell. That's dope, man. These are such cool freaking cigars. And to be honest, man, it's tasting pretty damn good. Amazing? No, but it's freaking good. Now here's the thing, right? I'm not getting like a huge difference between this and the Maduro. And I smoked the Maduro like I smoked the Maduro like 2 weeks ago. And I'm not getting like a crazy difference. But this one is just, whenever I get a nutty component in a cigar, it stands out to me quite a bit just because I'm not used to getting those tasty notes, but I do like them. This one I'm getting like a nutty component, very sweet, very smooth retro. But see, everything besides the nutty component I was getting with the Maduro. Like, it's still not like the best tasting cigar or whatever, worth the over $100 price tag. Like, of course not, but it's still really damn good. The retro hell has like a very distinct sweetness. Again, I was talking about this the other day, sweetness or just intense flavor. Like, to me, flavorful cigars or flavor bombs like instantly transition to like sweet in my mind. So yeah, you know, it's funny, the other day I smoked a Wagashi a few days ago and I posted a little clip about it, and Peter the Cigar Collective was like, damn Roger, he's like, stop, look at those teeth marks in the cigar, ease up on the cigar. And I do that quite a bit. I don't know why. I always bite the crap out of my cigars, like, and it's not necessarily like intentional, like I'm like gnawing at my cigar, but I like to grip it with my, I like to bite down on it when I'm smoking. I don't know. Is that weird? Like, so yeah, that's why my cigars usually in the pictures and stuff will have a pretty distinct like teeth marks along the top of it. So it is what it is. For the longest time, I would always blow, like let the smoke go out naturally, and I get a certain amount of taste like that, and then I would retrohale always towards the end. It was like a habit. I couldn't smoke cigar without retrohaling. But lately, in the last few months or so, I started like forcing the air out, like very intentionally, and I always get a different flavor like that. And this cigar doesn't really, this cigar, when I just blow the smoke out, it doesn't give me any flavors besides just like tobacco. Like, I'm not getting anything really good. Yeah, this cigar here, it tastes like a completely different cigar, whether you're just forcing out the smoke or if you're letting it come out and retrohaling. It's a completely different cigar. It's a boring cigar one way. Retrohaling the cigar is giving me a way better experience. Now there is another thing that I want to bring up with, man, I don't want to make this, oh fuck, I got a split in the cigar, god damn. I got a little split in the wrapper. Shit. Wrapper split right there. It's all right. This wrapper is a lot thinner than the Maduro because the Maduro was like a bit of like a, it was a very rustic wrapper, and this is very thin. I could see it already. This natural wrapper. Another issue that comes up, I don't want to make this whole thing about me complaining about like how hot it is in here, but another thing that I know I'm going to start having problems with is going to be the nicotine again. Because during summer, I remember I'm extremely scared of getting nicotine sickness, and I have blood sugar issues. So sometimes people will say, oh, eat chocolate or do something, but sometimes that doesn't always help, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with how I'm feeling as far as how comfortable I am. because if I am sweaty and hot and feeling already like, you already feel really exhausted from the heat, and then you're adding nicotine into it, it usually makes me nauseous or feel sick, and it's necessarily not the cigar, it's also the weather. So I might have to turn that little air conditioning thing back on because I'm already starting to feel it kind of like, ugh. So I'm pretty open about a lot of stuff about myself, and I've always kind of mentioned to, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, like, I don't think I usually speak about it too much, but I have told a lot of my friends, especially a lot of you guys that I've made friends online with, I have a very addictive personality. So I've always struggled with like addiction of certain things, even if it's not considered a bad thing, like still getting stuck on something for like to an unhealthy level. It has always happened to me. And recently I really started getting into Zyn for the last like month. And I remember I bought like the Zyn pack, a little Zyn can, and it lasted me like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And lately I've been going through those things like crazy, man. Like now that I start taking them more and more and more, and it's such a like habitual thing that you do. It's just so, when things are so easy to fall into, like, or to repeat, or they become, you wake up in the morning, you drink a cup of coffee, you do this, like if you don't have that cup of coffee, it feels off, right? Something feels weird. And that's kind of what's happening with the Zyn. One thing that Zyn has helped me with, though, is it has helped me with like my nicotine tolerance. I used to take one of the Zyns and I would feel sick, man, like kind of dizzy and nauseous a little bit. And now it doesn't happen. And now I can take, you know, one right after the other, and it's completely fine. So I believe it's helped me quite a bit. It's actually helped me enjoy cigars a little bit more, because when I start getting that nauseous feeling, then my head's stuck on that, and I can't really focus on how good the cigar is if I don't feel good from it anymore. So, and one thing I've noticed lately, like at work, because it's been getting hot here, the Zyn will make me a little bit nauseous again. So that's how I know that the heat is starting to kind of mess with my nicotine tolerance. Okay, so I said I wasn't gonna make this one as long, so I'm gonna try to kick back already. So I'm gonna smoke this down a little bit, and then I'll check back in once I get into more into the second third here. Now, so far though, a very apparent nuttiness, nice nuttiness, sweetness, retrohaling it. If I'm just blowing out the smoke, it's not really that good, but it has been a very linear cigar. So far, it's starting to get to the point of bland or boring. So we will see how it continues down, but I'm gonna smoke this down, let you guys know how it's going. All right, guys, smoking this thing down. As you can see, the ash on this thing, I mean, it's very flaky ash. It's about to fall off, but these cigars are constructed pretty nice because they do hold up fairly well. I do have this crack. Damn, the crack is still underneath here. I was hoping the crack wouldn't continue down that band, but it does. But yeah, I'm enjoying this cigar a little bit more now. One thing that I've noticed, because I started smoking it pretty quickly, and me personally, lately this has been happening. And that's why cigars are so subjective, right? And everything's so different, because what I'm going to tell you, well, how do you say that? What I'm going to say is going against what is like common consensus, right? Which is, you don't smoke too fast, because then the cigar can get bitter, can overheat or whatever. But I've been noticing lately, this has not always been like this, but lately, when I'm smoking a cigar towards the end, sometimes it takes a huge dip, but some cigars get even better for me. And a lot of times it's because the cigar smoke got hot. I've mentioned this before. And sometimes the hot smoke can be nasty, bitter, and it leaves a nasty aftertaste in your mouth. But sometimes it makes it like, it gives it a different flavor, an even sweeter flavor, like it's nice. And that's what I'm getting from this one. From smoking it so fast, because I started smoking it pretty quickly, it's giving me a very nice flavor. Now, I'm not telling you guys, hey, go and smoke faster so the cigar gets hotter and then it's gonna taste better, because that may not happen for you. It hasn't always been like that for me. This is something that recently I've been experiencing. I don't know why. It's not the cigars that they're different. It's just like the way that I'm enjoying cigars is changing. And that's subjective to my experience, right? That's why it's hard to recommend cigars. This cigar, obviously, if I were to say, if you've always wanted to try a BBMF, just like I had mentioned before that the Maduro BBMF was like a grail cigar of mine. If it was like a Grail cigar of yours and you've always wanted to try it and you found one for sale, then it depends on you whether you think whatever the price is for it at the time, whether you believe that it was worth it or not. It's very subjective to whoever's taking it into consideration, right? But for me personally, this one has not been as good as the Maduro. Not even like somewhat close. It's been pretty far behind it. So, and see, even this, like I were to say, hey, if you want to try a BBMF and you find the Maduro and the Natural, try the Maduro. But you may love Naturals, right? You may love Naturals more than Maduro, so then this is why recommending cigar things is fucking tricky. Especially recommending expensive cigars like this, it gets tricky. Because it really just depends on you, on whatever you think. If you found this cigar for 200 bucks, right? Which that's crazy, they're not 200. But if you did, and you really want to try it, and you don't care that it costs 200, and you smoke it and you like it, just because I'm not getting that good of an experience with it, I can't tell you, oh man, it wasn't worth 200. It wasn't worth 200. Because I can't, if you tell me it was worth it for you and you glad you tried it, how can I tell you that you overspent on that cigar? You know, I can't. It's your experience. And I can only tell you guys my experience, which the Maduro's better than this one for me. Still glad I got to try it though. I'm glad I got to smoke it fairly soon after I smoked the Maduro, because I've had this cigar in my humidor for a few months now, and I'm just glad that I got to try it. Especially so close to the other one, I still have that Maduro fresh in my mind. It's also another thing that happens, right? I was just talking to Victor from Space City Smoke about this. If you guys don't follow Victor, he's got an IG. It's called Space City Smoke. Super cool guy, fucking chill ass dude. A good friend of the channels. And he was asking me like, is this cigar good? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good cigar. And I think we're talking about the Shark, the JC Newman Shark. And he was asking me, did you like it more than the Toro? Because the Toro that we smoked on Unbanded, on Cigars Unbanded, was amazing, right? And he's like, did you like it more than the Toro? And it's like, normally, no. I've smoked the Toro like 3 times. And I always, like, I thought it was good. The first time I smoked it, it made me sick, so I didn't like it. Then I smoked it again, thought it was good, and thought it was okay. But then the one I smoked on Unbanded was amazing. And that's when I told him, normally I would say the Shark is better. But if I could compare the Shark to the one Toro that was great, then the Toro would have been better for me, because that one was just a killer stick, right? And then Victor was like, dude, I get what you mean, because Crown Heads La Vereda got so much hype, so much people saying good things about that cigar for good reason, right? They were saying it for a good reason, because it's a great cigar. But he's like, the first one I had was freaking killer. Loved it, went and bought a box. He's like, out of the 10, only one of them smoked as good as the first one. All the other ones were just meh. Like, they were just whatever. And that's what sometimes people have to understand, man. That is gonna happen. And that's why if I really love a cigar and I say, dude, this is a great cigar, and you smoke it and you're like, this cigar sucks, or it's just mid, or I don't get it. It's just like, man, what do you want me to say? You know, like, I'm sorry I led you wrong. Like, I told you what I thought of that cigar when I smoked it. And it doesn't mean that all of them are gonna be like that from now on. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna enjoy them all as much as I did that one just because it was good one time. Like, cigars are handmade products, and crop depends on it. All kinds of stuff depends on that. I don't think anybody can control their crop 100% to be exactly the same, taste the same. And I know Padron and stuff gets close, and Davidoff tries to get close, and that's like their thing. But I mean, it's hard, right? I imagine it is hard to close to impossible for that to happen. Damn, man, this is such a cool cigar though. Look at this thing. This thing's freaking sick. Yeah, man, such a cool ass cigar. But pretty much nothing has changed besides the smoke has gotten a little bit hotter, like I said, and the flavors are more intense. Still more of the same, still a little bit super linear, on the verge of being kind of boring, but the little bit of heat made it a little extra nice right now. The only difference now when I retrohale, I get a little bit of darkness, like a little bit of that molasses sweetness now that it's getting shorter, and I'm getting more, tiny bit of bitterness with this cigar now. Not bitterness in a bad way, just a little darker tasting note. See, now when I blow out the smoke, I get that nutty component, but on the palate, I get a very nice toasty kind of robust kind of flavor. Like a roasted nut, like is what I'm getting. It's very nice. But that's it, guys. I'm gonna smoke this down a little bit more, and then I'll check back in once I'm in the final third here. This video is gonna be freaking longer than the last one. All right, so I went to clean my face with the rag, damn, and I still had smoke in my mouth. When I blew it out, I blew it into the rag, and I inhaled that shit. Oh my god. I feel like my eyes are so red. I feel like my face is all red from that. Damn. Finishing this natural BBMF. I mean, still got a little bit to go, but it's been super linear, like very linear. Not really getting any changes. It shifted a little bit when the smoke temperature started to change. But other than that, it's been very just neutral, and is actually, I don't know if I've just gotten used to that different tasting note, but either that or it toned down a little bit. So it's not as enjoyable anymore. Yeah, it actually took a step back, unfortunately. I don't see this one getting a whole lot better. I'm probably gonna nub this one all the way down, but I think my video's starting to get long enough. I did want to say also though that I do feel extremely lucky to be able to smoke cigars like this, you guys. Like, I remember watching Luxury Cigar Club's video where Chris was smoking a cigar, and it's like the title says $125 cigar or something, right? And I remember watching that video like just for shits and giggles, like, oh, I wonder what that's like. I wonder what that's like, but I would never do that. I remember thinking that. And the number of cigars that I've smoked that are like either at that price range or valued at that price range in the aftermarket, or cigars that are, you know, crazy cigars, right? Because I consider this a crazy cigar. I consider myself very lucky to be able to smoke this cigar, man. And of course, I wish that more people that I talk to online, or some of you guys that I chat with, could smoke more of these cigars, so then, you know, it doesn't feel as weird. Because don't get me wrong, it does feel weird sometimes to smoke a cigar like this, when some people are like, man, the most I smoke is like a $25 cigar. And I wish that, you know, everybody could experience it. Not because, damn, if you smoke $25 cigars and you like your favorite cigar is 25 bucks, this one would freaking kill it, and it would crush your expectations for every cigar from this point, because it'd never be the same. It's not like that. They're not that great. Like, these rare cigars, harder to find cigars, expensive cigars, I've said this a bunch of times, but it doesn't mean they're going to be better. And a lot of times they're not, man. A lot of times they're not, right? I was talking to Terrence the other day. Terrence is one of the lucky guys that picked up some Atabey Blacks when they were around. So he smoked Atabey Blacks, and he thought it was really good. But then he smoked the Mil Diaz Maduro, a cigar that's like a little bit less than half the price and more available. And he said, I actually like the Mil Diaz more. And it's like, cool, man. You know, like, I'm with you on that, because that Mil Diaz is like a close second to me to the Atabey Black. I did enjoy the black a little bit more, but you're talking about weighing the cost and weighing the rarity and easy to find. It's just the Mil Diaz Maduro, man. There's so many great cigars out there that don't cost an arm and a leg. So as much as I feel lucky for smoking cigars like this, as much as I wish a lot of you guys could try these cigars, I wish everybody who is watching this video, who's watching it because they like wonder what it's like and wish like they would smoke one day, I really hope you get to smoke one day. And then you'll see also that it's not, you know, it's not that different. If I wasn't making content, I wouldn't be smoking cigars like this, I don't think. Because when I'm gonna buy a cigar like this and I know better, and again, this is working man cigars. I'm just a working man, you know, like, this isn't like CEO baller cigars or some shit. You know, it's not like something stupid like that. You know, I'm a working man. I just work, and I like, you know, sometimes to buy this stuff, I'm working extra, or, you know, sometimes I get a call to do something late or a job I don't want to do, and I'm like, I should do that, because then it's easier for me sometimes to put something in my cart and actually purchase it when I know, like, well, I got this money coming, I got that money coming. Still irresponsible, right? That money should be going towards responsible things, you know, going towards saving, investing. There's a ton of better ways to spend your money. And I know sometimes, like, oh, this would make a good video is why I buy a certain cigar. So I'm pretty positive that I wouldn't be smoking this stuff if I wasn't gonna, you know, shoot some content, if I wasn't gonna use it for some content. These like limited or rare cigars or expensive cigars they've been kind of humanized in my eyes. Like, when I used to think that they were like, damn man, that's like a, you know, that's like a crazy cigar. It's like it had this mystique and this elite level of cigar. They've been brought down to just normal cigars to me after smoking so many of them and realizing that a lot of them aren't that they're not, you know, they're nothing crazy or anything. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna finish smoking this down. Hopefully you enjoyed this cigar rants. I'm gonna call this cigar rants, but rants means you're complaining about something, right? Is that you guys know what I mean? This just like another cigar talks video. But enjoyed this cigar. Glad you guys tuned in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna continue on this Opus thing because I've had a lot of Opus, like cool Opuses in my humidor that I have collected over the lifespan of my hobby, and I've never really smoked them because I enjoy looking at them in my humidor. I look at them more like as safe queens. Like I talked about this before. I look at them more like just cool collector pieces, and you know, you got to smoke them, you got to enjoy them, you got to try them at least. So I'm gonna try them. This one, the Maduro, at least had me feeling like, okay, that was a pretty good cigar, like cool, you know. This one did let me down quite a bit. It is a step down. Like I would rather smoke a Mil Diaz Maduro than this one. Like if I had a choice to smoke one or the other and I really want to enjoy it and stuff, I would grab the Mil Diaz Maduro over this one. Sometimes people get mad when you compare cigars that have nothing to do with each other, but I'm just kind of saying this shit in general. So I'm gonna try to line up some more of those up next in these videos and see how that goes. Next videos will probably be outside though, because I'm cooking in here, man. But all right, guys, see you all on the next one.